Welcome back to Arts World. I'm here in Doha, the capital of Qatar, at Souk Waqif, a marketplace where you can find local handicrafts and artworks that generally remind you of ancient traditions. Now, by contrast, over in Canada, two young men have pioneered a very modern form of art. They're creating pieces of art out of your very own DNA genetic code. Art does not get more personal than this.
In this nondescript building on the outskirts of Montreal, important cutting-edge research is carried out involving DNA, the genetic code that is unique to each of us. Normally, the research scientist would be studying, say, DNA from a calf to determine whether it has the right genetic makeup to produce a lot of milk. Today, though, they're dealing with a request from their most unusual client, based 150 miles away in Ottawa, the Canadian capital. Two friends, one a trained scientist, the other a marketing specialist, came up with a fun idea that would surprisingly transform both of their lives. And it all began with a brochure on DNA imaging equipment.
I saw something that really intrigued me, and to me it looked more like a Mark Rothko painting or an abstract piece of artwork and less like a scientific image.
When I was looking at these images, they really had a scientific meaning to me. It was not until Adrian and I got together and Adrian saw an artistic perspective of it that it actually came together, where a light bulb kind of came off.
It wasn't, let's start a business. It was more like, this would look beautiful on my wall. Can we make a sample? Can we make one for me? And that's how it really started.
New orders are taken over the web. You can select color schemes and ask for almost any size print. Then you receive a DNA collection kit. Jason is their newest customer and was impressed by the artwork's uniqueness.
It is you, it is your signature. No one else in the world is going to have this piece of art.
Your DNA is collected with a simple mouth swab. First, there was little support for the business venture.
In the beginning, I think my former colleagues thought I went completely insane. I left a well-paying job.
Any banker would have looked at us like we're crazy with this idea, and they wouldn't have invested in us.
I was probably chased out of about 10 biotech labs. They didn't really understand the concept. They didn't think that there was actually a market for this.
But a trickle of orders soon became a flood, and they've never looked back. DNA extraction is a complex procedure involving numerous machines, some moving slowly and very precisely, while others spin liquids at high speed. Before finally an electric current is applied. And this is what is produced, the sort of DNA blueprint featured in countless crime shows around the world. The image is sent as a file to Ottawa.
I guess if you had to summarize it, you might say Andy Warhol meets CSI. But it's inspired by some of the great abstract and pop artists with a completely unique new spin on it of adding the whole layer of science and personalization.
It's amazing how every single person looks at our portrait and sees something different in it.
Open up the transform button.
Some of our clientele only look at it as a design perspective and they just think it's a really cool idea. Another group look at it as an emotional representation of their DNA and the essence of who they are. Another group of people really see the genetics component, the science component.
Naz and Adrian are now supplying customers in more than 50 countries. They're coming up with new ideas too. How about having your lips enlarged? Or perhaps a giant fingerprint? The possibilities seem limitless. So is it really art?
Well, surprisingly, the art world has embraced us, which is not something we expected.
Even the Museum of Modern Art has accepted our art form and they sell it through all their design stores.
The artworks don't reveal any medical secrets, but they are helping to fund important research.
Whether it's AIDS research, cancer research, diabetes, we've always been a company that wants to give back to medical research or to other worthwhile causes around the world. At the end of the day, what you're looking at is something very special. It's your life code. It's what makes you unique.
I'm looking at some of these old photographs of Doha. It's amazing how quickly a place can change in such a short space of time. Now, on the outskirts of Bogota in Colombia, a group of children are also using photography to document their environment. With tin cans for cameras, they're using photography as a means of expression and a way to turn their lives around.
What's most fun about pinhole photography is that you can see strange things. So if I take a picture of something I want to photograph, and aside from capturing what I wanted, I can distort or tangle the image a little bit, or make it smaller. That is very cool.
When we do photography with pinhole cameras, the children cannot believe it. They ask how an old tin can take a photograph. So we tell them it really is possible. It can be done.
I couldn't believe it. They said we were going to build our own cameras. These are pinhole cameras, and she showed us a video of some kids making their own cameras.
A pinhole camera is an ordinary tin with a small hole called the pinhole. And it basically works with light.
Pinhole cameras are a long-established invention. Just a tin with a pinhole and photographic paper inside are enough to produce beautiful and powerful works of art.
I love them. I'm fascinated by their work, how they write, what they say, what they shoot, and what they choose to shoot.
These kids live on the outskirts of Bogotá, in Altos de Cazucá, where more than 60,000 people endure extreme poverty. Many had to flee the armed conflict in the countryside, their education and their childhood interrupted. They live in an unsettled, dangerous environment with nothing to look forward to.
One could say the situation of children and young people in Cazuca is the saddest of all. These are kids who don't dream of finishing school, but of finding work. All they find is friends who offer them a gun or drugs. So we stand against this. We tell them, here are some other tools.
John, lady! Disparando cámaras para la paz.
Shooting Cameras for Peace is a photographic project where we propose an exchange. We give them a tool to use, and young participants give us their stories.
Julián spends most of his energy shooting with cameras he has built himself. He and his friends are very interested in capturing the best angle of the place they live in and showing the life they live.
Okay, here's what we're going to do today. We'll go out shooting pictures of the neighbourhood to show people these old tins are no longer old tins. They've been turned into pinhole cameras. We will show them it is really true we can take photographs with our old tins. We will show them some parts of the neighbourhood, the place where we live, what we like best about it.
Since the project started in 2002, hundreds of kids from Cazucá have shared their images with their communities and with the world.
If you look at their photographs, you can see they don't register very hard or painful moments. Instead, they register their happiest moments. They take pictures of the people they love, and whatever turns out to make them glad, that's what they want to picture.
Ready? This time I want to take a picture of my mother. Let me introduce her to you. Her name is Nelsie Macias. Hey Mum, say something. Now Mum, stand here like this.
I believe when a kid shoots cameras for peace, when he writes or makes his artwork, when he's able to ask his dad to respect him, to listen, tell him he can speak and have an opinion,
Eso crea paz. Eso es.
This creates peace. I mean, peace begins in his family, at home.
Through the magic of photography, the kids have come to understand that their images show others their reality, and this allows them to express their feelings.
To support them in the idea of photography means never to lose their dream. Why? Because we cannot be deprived as human beings from getting to be someone in life.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
That's it for this edition of the program. Be sure to join us next week where we'll be lighting up your screens with another edition of Arts World.